start this. The local guides, or not local guides, but product experts are really the mouthpieces of Google. So they're only going to tell you what is Google's terms and services. You know, they're just going to say, this is the best way to rank, which is completely crap. But last time when I did see him, I did agree with one part. He said he did say the title is the name of the business is very much a ranking factor. And that's what I've been saying the whole time. But a lot of his other stuff he said, I was just like garbage. And this is
Look, it's worth watching.
you know, so I watched it. And actually me and him have talked from Mindsaw and stuff. He's very much like me, believe it or not. So
no, that's what I've said. I enjoyed that interview. You guys both spoke about charity. And
I like him a lot.
I really enjoyed it. But what I'm saying is, Ben Fisher said two things that freaked me out. The one is he said the average GNB, I don't know where in the States or where it gets suspended 3 times a year, which I can't believe. That's what he said. And the second thing, which didn't resonate with me, was that he said products and services don't work at all, so stop wasting your time.
Yeah, that's crap.
Look, he's just full of shit. He's just full of shit.
As soon as he said that, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
And then he said that XF data doesn't work. So
yeah, XF data doesn't work if you upload it from your computer. It does very much work if you upload it from the site.
And
George, who is not in here right now, but he's one of my students and he's in my rank and written partnership. He showed 2 GMBs, one of which was done with stock images, one of which is done with XF data or from a mobile device on premises, and that's the only thing he was doing and posting a few times. And that one is completely solid green. The other one actually started falling in rankings using stock photo.
Thanks for the answers. I'm going to mute now.
So we're going to go ahead and tonight, I am going to go through some of the answers and stuff that everybody was giving. Now they got my other Facebook account back. We'll see how long it lasts. So Janet and them said, I agree this is not an easy homework task. The one I asked, what do you want? When do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? What are you willing to give up to get it? And what is your why? Okay, the why is, all these questions are the most important before we get started, right? And, the feedback was, this is not as easy as I thought it would be. And one of which someone gave me some answers, Scott, where it was just the typical answer. What do I want? I want an agency that's profitable. When do you want it? By end of year? What are you willing to do to get it? Whatever it takes. It's very just cliche-ish, and it's never going to get you anywhere. When I say, what do you want? I need specifics. When I say, when do you want it? I want specifics. Like, what are you going to do this week? Whenever I get off the phone call with you today, what are you going to do? Not what are you going to do a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever. So that's really, we got to get into that. So, and the reason why I'm asking, for instance, the very last one, what is your why, is this, because if your why is big enough, then it makes the how possible. So if your why is big enough, the how will just present itself to you. It seems very cliche, but from my experience, that's just generally how it works. If your why is big enough, you'll work your ass off to make it happen, and there won't be any excuses. And then your mind, if you will, it literally almost starts looking for possibilities. Instead of thinking about what's not possible, it starts thinking about, well, what if this happens instead? What if this was able to happen? Instead of going, well, I don't think that will work out. It's a matter of asking certain questions intelligently or asking them in a different way. Instead of saying, why does this always happen to me? Ask it in a different way. Be very specific, be very detailed, Don't ask just for, I want to be a millionaire. Everybody wants a lot of money. Be very specific about it. Those are different things that we're going to be going over, but I wanted Jason, if he could, to go over his answers. And then we're going to go through the first step, which is going to be setting up, and we'll go through it, your profile. So go ahead, Jason, if you could go over the questions I
cool.
asked in regards to step, the 4 questions, and then what is your why, if you could.
All right, cool. So the first question was, what do you want? So I'll be straight up. My number one, obviously, I'm in a Scale Your Agency course. So I want a 7-figure marketing agency, and that looks like 200 clients to me.
Mm.
And these aren't in a particular order. Then I want money for a cause. I live in South Africa. It's a third world country. There's a lot of shit going on here.
Mm.
And there's a lot of talent as well. And there's lots of uncultivated potential, I feel,
Okay.
And then also want to move out of the town I'm in and move to a coastal town. It's always been one of my dreams to live by the sea. So this is what I want. Yeah. And then I want to be the most well-known SEO and digital marketer in Africa through providing value online and stuff. And I want to be financially free and respected businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also like to take my fiance on a honeymoon because we're getting married soon overseas somewhere.
Okay.
That's
so
I want, yeah.
on the first question, because I'll break it down, I want to take it much slower, but on the first one, you said specifically, okay, for example, you want to be in the 7 figures. I mean, so this is the way I try to look at things. You want to be in 7 figures, $1 million. I'm going to expect it to be US dollars, correct?
Yeah.
Which is going to break down to a little over, almost 83,000, a little over 80,000 a month. And you want to do that with 200 clients. And you want to break these things down. So you're going to charge the average person 416 US dollars at minimum. So most people, you got to break it down and be like, well, if I do 200 clients and I'm charging 416 US dollars, that gets me to where I want to be. But what if I was charging, like in my case, 500 US dollar, and I had 200 clients? I make 100K per month, and I'm making 1.2 million. And then you got other clients that pay, you could say, are going to pay you, in my case, $800 a month. And let's say out of those, I got about 50. That's $40,000 a month. So you break it down, so you make it doable, if you will, and instead of just, hey, I want to be a millionaire. Well, how are you going to get there? What's the plan? What you're going to charge for your services? What type of services are you going to charge this for? Are you just SEO, web design? What is it? One-offs? Those are all things you're going to need to break down. Then your second one is, what do you want? When do you want it? So I'm assuming in a year, and it's the same thing. So what do you want in a year? Well, what do you want to do today to start working towards that? So what you're going to have to do, and what I'm going to be showing y'all, is the steps you're going to take. So once we're done, like even tonight, once again, there are other questions I'm going to ask in the group that I'm going to want answers for. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to get personal with me. But if you want to, great. Some of you have been submitting your stuff, which I actually like hearing it because it encourages me too. So, because just because I am where I am doesn't mean I don't need encouragement. Everybody always needs encouragement. So, when do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? That's the biggest one. It's like, not only that, but don't just, you make a daily plan, a weekly plan, a monthly plan, a yearly plan, a quarterly plan. You got to break everything down and put goalposts up. So if you're wanting to make $83,000 a month, that breaks down to 20,000 a week. So you have to break these things down. You understand? And then what are you willing to give up? What do you have in your life right now that's keeping you from these things? And you have to be very specific. Is it hanging out, drinking too much, going and playing poker? Is it, not being serious about your business? Is it, what is it? Is it most people, I'll tell you what it is you're lazy. Yeah, I'm lazy. I mean, I'll tell, but lazy is not necessarily a bad thing either. You know, a millionaire friend of mine, he tells me, he says, it's not that I wanted, if you will, money. I just am aggressively lazy. That was his reasoning. And then what is your why? Your why has to be much bigger than yourself, even your family. So, but we're going to go ahead and get into, so give me a one. I'm going to go through all this, you know, these, if you have questions, put them in the chat. But what we're going to do is I'm going to actually show you the process of what we're going to do. And go and give this to, if you will, Jason, whom I just think we just lost, but yeah, there he is again. But we're going to literally give you, you know,
Cut out there, sorry.
yeah, it's okay. I'm going to have some templates for you. That's going to be the first thing, right? And I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. And Jeff, who's in here too, I believe he has a good one we can feature. And Jeff is a mentor / friend of mine. So, yep, he's a perfect one. Mind him if I show him this, Jeff? Jeff is I'd tell him a little bit about Jeff. Jeff actually lives in Australia. You know, he's done millions in Google pay-per-click, Google paper ads, and all that other stuff. And he's done big time in catering business and marketing. And he lives in Manila. I met him probably about a year ago now. And we've been good friends since. Let me share my screen real quick and I'll show you what we're going to get into. So, and I'm going to tell you my reasoning before I show you this. So once we know, the next question is, after you got those, is who is your ideal client, right? And I have, and I'm going to drop this in the group, but I have a whole list of different niches everybody can serve, right? And a lot of people are going to tell me, well, I want to serve everybody. And I'm going to tell you, you are setting yourself up for failure. You don't want to serve everybody. You can't serve everybody. It's like trying to say, well, I want to make everybody happy. Well, guess what? You're going to live a very, very miserable life if you try to please everybody. If you try to reach everybody, please everybody, you're setting yourself up for failure and misery. This is literally just an entire niche list. I go from everything you can think of under the sun to give you ideas of different clients you could reach. Now, you could be a generalist, like I said, and you can do that. And you can be someone like me where I just serve everybody per se, but I'm not also just serving everybody. I'm serving specifically an agency. Agencies. Correct? So even me, I've niched down. I might be a generalist, but I still niche down to being specifically geared towards agencies. Okay. And the reason for that is because what I told y'all before, I used to not make a whole lot of money, used to not have a whole lot of clients. And I was like, man, you know, who should I be reaching out to? And then I said, what is my ideal client? And that's when I created my customer avatar. And we'll go over what a customer avatar is. And I'll put all the documents and everything in the background, okay? Because it's going to be a long document in which you're going to have to go through it and say, okay, what is my ideal customer avatar? And why are they my ideal customer avatar? And, you know, and we go over it. So the ideal customer or client, you know, when you're building your business, now that we have our why, we need to understand our client or our customer. I don't usually call them a customer. A customer is someone that comes once and never comes back. A client is someone that comes to you and comes back and comes back and comes back and comes back. You treat them more like family than you do a customer, okay? On your ideal customer or on your ideal client, you want to know what makes them tick, what makes them successful, what makes them unique. Okay, and I have a bunch of information you're going to fill out to go over this. I'm going to show it to you in your screen here. What is your avatar? You got to zoom in on them, push on the pain or increase the pain. What is their pain like? You know, you got to be able to know what to trigger. Like, for instance, is it leads? Is it money? Is it fear? And a lot of people won't like this, but I'm going to tell you, it's almost like you have to go, okay, I know what makes them happy. So even in my website copy, even in my art, even in stuff that I put out there from my, my posts or on my profile, it's going to be to either push them towards happiness or pull them from pain. What is their pain? What's going to make them tick? Most people will actually do something they hate to get away from whatever they fear or they feel pain, pain from. Okay. So we're going to send this over to you. This will be on the back end. And I literally go over, okay, I want to know what you're going to name your avatar, right? How old is your ideal client? Are they male? Are they female? Where are they located? Are they national, international? Very specific in a city, state, country, non-country? What's their income bracket? Do I want to deal with people that are just starting out, which I would tell you no. I personally do not, mainly because they don't have the money and they're going to struggle and they're not going to be able to pay you your fees, and then you're going to be chasing them around. The next thing you know, you're going to be hating waking up in the morning. All right. What's their car they're driving? Do they have kids or not? Do they have pets? Do they like dogs, cats? You need to know all that information, because let's say, for instance, you want to deal with someone that actually likes cats or likes dogs or whatever, and you put it in, they like dogs, and you put a picture up there of a cat, it may be a turnoff. Just like if you're doing direct mail, let's say you're a pet store and you send it to someone that has a dog, and instead of sending a picture that has a dog on your post mail, you send something that has a cat, it could be a turnoff, even though you're a pet store. So these are all things you're going to be wanting to look through. And it's a whole worksheet. I want you to go through it. And I'm going to put this on the back end. And it's literally, let's see how many pages, push the pain, all these questions in here. The market, understanding your market, understanding your future. It's about 7 or 8 pages. That's about it. Now, once we know that, once we have the niche, we're going to go through this very fast. Once we have our niche and we know our client, next time we talk, I want to know some ideas of clients y'all want to reach. And I don't want to hear everybody. If you're going to tell me everybody, I want to know why. So agencies, yes, of course, but even then you're going to niche down to very specific people. Okay. Let me show you this real quick. And here's why. All right. Let's go in here. There's a couple I want to show you. This is Jeff. All right. He has a catchy phrase up here. He's the mass marketer. Let us share our secrets, how to double your business in 120 days or less. And he has his logo. Then he says, click here for a free report. You click on there. Oops, does it take you anywhere? That needs to have your link in it, Jeff. So no, and I'm going to show you a couple of them, but this is one. He has this right here, which is really good. And then the next one, let me go into here, and I'm going to show you why you want to do all this stuff. My favorite one of the guys I like the most is Steve Larson. And I've learned a lot of this from guys over at ClickFunnels. So if you want to know where I started picking up a lot of this, it's going to be from them. Steve Larson, or Steve J. Larson, you go to his website, you're going to see this. If you click here, it's going to take you, want to learn the exact frameworks, blah, 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 has a link to this, because most people, even though you can't technically click on this and it take you to a website, just because it says click here, they're going to click here. Okay. That's going to be one. I'm going to show you another one. Here's another one, Mr. Kevin, that is in our group in the GMB Reloaded. Same thing. And he actually pushes you through to his group. And I'm going to give you different reasons for why we're going to do all of this and why we want to do it. Okay. Most people's profile And then you got mine. Grab all my tools for free. If you click here, it's going to take you to Google My Business Secrets. You click on that, it's going to take you to my group. All right. Most people, if you look at if your friends or whatever, let's go to my friends list. And I'll show you what the typical persons, and I'm going to tell you why you do all this, okay? Because you got to understand the thought process. Let's go and grab, I want to try to find a couple of people. Let's say Ron. He's the guy we're doing the GMB for and then reloaded. So he's very typical. If you look at his profile, it's just a picture of him up here. He's proud of himself, but you know, he even has his link in here, but there's nothing here that tells me, hey, click this. It's just a dirty picture of laying, you know, I know it's laying down sod, but the average person is not going to know that. He does have his link here, which is not like what most people do. The one thing that he doesn't have here, which is not what I would do, is it's just tons and tons and tons and tons of personal stuff. No one wants to hear about your doggy, what you ate, or see pictures of your mama and your daddy and everything else. You know, you can have a personal profile and do that on that one, but you need a business profile in which if you go to it, everything you ever post, 90% of it is going to be business related stuff, business related information, YouTube videos. You can have some personal stuff in there, but you want it to be only about 10% of the time. Most of the time you go to like my profile, it's going to be business or stories, inspirational, some graphics, some success stories, you know, some videos, some inspirational stuff, some funny memes, but it's all related to my ideal client. Okay. Every last bit of it's related to my ideal client. So, and I'm going to show you before I even tell you the why we do all this, I'm going to show you how we set it up because there's very specific ways we set this up. In the chat box on a 1, how many of y'all have Adobe?
The Creative Suites.
Yep, Creative Suites, Adobe. I'll be answering questions, Brock, at the end, okay? Otherwise, I'll never get done. All right, how many of y'all have Canva? So most of you have both. So personally, my favorite is going to be, you know, using Adobe. You can use Canva if you want. I like Canva per se because I can do nice little things like this. So let me go ahead and open up Canva and I'm going to show you this. So if you go to Canva, and here's why I like it. So in Facebook, and you're going to get this template, and I'm going to show you that this is, for instance, this is the safe zone. What do I mean by safe zone? Safe zone means, for example, if I go here, if I'm on a mobile device, this entire area will show up. If I get too close to the edge, it's not going to show up on a mobile device. Facebook is making it harder and harder to utilize your profile for marketing. They don't want you to take people off of their platform into your sales funnel. That's another reason why instead of me taking and saying, hey, go visit my website to get all my tips, I push them to my group. I do not push them to my website. I push them to my group. I used to push them to my website. I don't do that no more. Okay. So in Adobe, I have it laid out. That's the safe zone in here. Here's how many pixels between that's visible on mobile, visible on desktop, and it has to be this big. All right. And then I'm going to give you some templates to use. Templates being all you have to do is change out the background, change out the text. Now, if you have Canva, Canva makes it very easy to do this. If you were to open up Canva, I'm going to show you step 1, step 2, step 3 with Canva. You sign in, open up Canva, you go to templates. You go to Facebook covers right here on the left-hand side. You just click on it. It's going to give you a bunch of different covers. What I found that works out on a cover is you want it to be bright and you want it to grab their attention, right? If I was to choose something like this, or even this, or even this, it's not really going to grab my attention. Or even this. You want something bright that's going to grab their attention, that's going to make them stop and be like, okay, what does this guy do now? You know, and you'll see a lot of times, let's say, here's another one, Blake Newbar. He's the one that really pushed this heavily. This is his cover photo. Very bright, and a picture, you'll see a lot of times it's going to be very bright with another picture of themselves up there with simply your statement. What is your statement for your business? The ideal client, this is where we have to get into this as well when we're doing this cover, and you're going to need to think about this between now and Friday, is okay, let's say your ideal client is, let's say, home remodeling. So how are you going to get home remodelers to want to work with you instead of John down the street? And you have to think about that and be like, what's going to set me apart from them? Okay. And let's say you're an agency and you serve, you know, everybody under the sun, even like with me. What's going to set me apart? You know, rather than, if you will, for me, you know, I have people that sit there and love or hate me, and then it plays into what I tell everybody is I tell everybody's secrets, and I hate being called an SEO. So I love it when people start talking bad about me. So it plays into whatever I am already saying. Okay. So this little sentence, if you will, or like on mine, you know, plays into what I want them to do. What action do I want them to take? You know, for instance, if it was home remodeling, save $10,000 before, you know, something like home remodeling. You could write 10 tips before your next home remodeling, save $10,000, you know, in home remodeling fees, something that's going to be like a cheat sheet or something that's going to want them to grab their attention. Okay. But when we're making it, we want to keep this main phrase in the back of our head. What's going to be the call to action? Transform, in his case, transform your social media profiles to generate unlimited free leads and sales. Or you could do, you know, generate unlimited leads and sales for construction, tree removal, plumbers, HVAC, you know, whatever it is, that's what you want to do. And then you're going to have a call to action, which is get started or click here or start now, whatever. But for instance, with Canva, I can choose, you know, any image I want. Let's say it's this image. If I wanted to choose it, it's bright and pretty or whatever, or I could choose this image. You know, and whenever I choose any of these images, whatever it may be, let's say it was this one, you know, I'm going for, let's say, mindset or helping coaches or whatever. I could literally, once I open up Canva, I can come in here, change the text, edit my header, and then on top of it, I can drop in buttons inside of Canva. You know, but you still want to keep these perimeters in mind. And that's why I like Adobe a little bit better, because I can have those perimeters without having to wonder where my perimeters are at. Okay. With the Canva, it makes it a little bit simpler, but I prefer Adobe, right? So we make our canvas and we make this, and we got to make sure that it's always going to look correct. So when someone goes to click on this and it's on a mobile device, it's going to look right and they're going to be able to click it. So for example, I don't know how it looks on this, but I know it looks good on my phone. So let's say if I click on this and I go inspect and I wanted to see it on a mobile device, click here, because you can already see on this, they're hiding, you know, this right here, but they don't hide this and they don't hide my header. My headline is Google My Business Secrets, and this is the group. On desktop, it's going to look perfect, but I want my button where they could see it. That's why my button is positioned over here. But that's on my desktop, doing it that way. If I was to show you on my actual phone, it looks fine. All right. So the next step in this whole process, and this is where a lot of people get hung up, besides this and just being your main, you know, who do you want to serve and what's going to catch their attention? You know, what is my customer or my client's fear? What is their desire? What do they hope for? What do they want? You know, and don't come back and say, well, they just want leads. They just want calls. That may be so, but you need to say it in a different way. You know, instead of saying, I get you leads, I get you unlimited leads. Which one sounds better? You know, get more sales, or I explode your sales. Which one sounds better? Which one's more catchy? You got to expand your vocabulary if you're going to be using some of these techniques, because a lot of people only say, well, I increase your sales, I increase your leads, you know, I increase your rankings on GMB. No, I explode your rankings and I dominate your competition. Okay, which one sounds better? And there's a reason why we're going to do this, right? So if you don't have if you want to do this on another profile, I have another account that I would tell you to buy these. You know, you can buy an account from, you know, membership. I'll put it on the back end, but basically you can buy aged Facebook accounts. And I'm going to tell you very specifically on Friday how you warm up an aged Facebook account, right? There's a whole process to all of this. You can't just let me start a new Facebook account. Let me just go ahead and start doing this and that and joining groups and posting crap. And then when your Facebook account gets banned the same day, don't ask me why. But what happens is, for instance, so we got our Facebook. Let's say we got our Facebook profile set up, Jason. So by Friday, I'm wanting this timeline cover. I want your header, your grabby image that's right here. And I want to know what you're going to use to grab their attention. What's going to set you apart from everybody else.
And obviously my niche then as well.
Correct. Because then once you get this down, then I can tell you the next part, right? The next part is going to be the very key, because what's going to happen is the next part is going to be the key to getting you clients, which is giving value. And how do I go in and give value? And this is what I've done for the past year, which has taken me from where we're at to making over 7 figures. Okay. And there have been ups, there have been downs. For instance, our group was, Jeff knows it because he saw it. Back in September of last year, it was at like 400 or 500. Now we're sitting over 40K. We were at 6,000 probably almost 2 months ago, maybe less. And then right around 6,000, 7,000, it just took off, you know, and I have methods of doing everything I do. And we're going to get into that. You know, I'll give you a real brief one, is why I want to do all this is because the beauty of Facebook, we have this little thing we like to call groups. And but Facebook takes everybody and puts them into groups. Like I could tell you the best group for you to get into, Jason, is going to be Go High Level. Go high level, all it is agencies. And your ideal client, if you're going to white label, is go high level and is click funnels. You know, but we're going to get into that part of it on Friday. Okay. But the first part of what I need y'all to do, don't even think about what I'm going to give them. Don't even say, well, what am I going to give these people? Why are they going to click here? You know, just think about, well, why are they going to want to work with me versus working with John or Jane? You know, what is my catchy headline? What is my punchline? You know, and make that header so we could go on to the next part. Okay. Is very key to everything we're doing. Okay. All right. Any questions? Let me go into the chat and see if we got any questions. I'm sure we got tons of them, but I just want to go through them all. You have Adobe and Canva. I would use the Pro version. You can use Canva free version, but I love Canva. Invanto, it's great. And I'm going to give y'all some templates and some layouts so you can use them. And got a kind of general gist. How do we niche down, say, to mortgage loans or roofing contractors or AC installation when we do not know how good the niches are? Okay, you want me to tell you how to find a good niche? I'll tell you. It's real easy. All right, you ready? There's this tool. I'm not being sarcastic, but I am being sarcastic. We like to call it Google. Let's say if you're in Miami, let's say I'm going to type in the word roofer. All right. And let's say if it was, for instance, let me go into incognito so I can actually do this correctly. And incognito, if it will load for me, I should see some ads and some different things popping up. And of course, it's going to go slow and forever. All right, so let's get out of here. Let's go Miami roofing repairs. All right, so first thing I know, if they're spending money, they're a good client. It's a good niche. You ask Brock this. If they're spending money, they're going to be able to pay for SEO. If they're not spending money, they're not going to be good for SEO. They're not going to be good for pay-per-click. If they're on page 2, they're probably not going to be good for pay-per-click. I'm personally going to go for, be like, if I was going to do SEO, I will go for people on page 2, mainly to try to get them for GMB. But if they're up here and I go look at more roofers in Miami, I know everybody that's on here is paying money. If they're Google guaranteed, they're paying money. If I type in, let's say, attic venting, they're paying money. If I type in skylight repair, money. So Google search is going to be a really good one. Then if I want to see, I can go to SpyFu and be like, how much are these people, how much are these people actually spending? And SpyFu will actually tell me how much these people are spending. If I typed in, let's go back real quick. Let me get one of their actual websites, Best Roofers. Open that one. Or you open up a Google ad or whatever. But in this case, I'm trying to find it. Okay, let me go to a different one. Roofing, let's say roofing Greater Maryland, right? This one right here, like Taman Roofing. And I can literally go, how much is this person spending? Their site sucks. Need a new website. That's why they're spending money on Google pay-per-click. They're spending money on Google pay-per-click because they ain't ranked in SEO. And you want to know how much money they're probably spending? Let's go for it. SpyFu. And this is how you do research on people before you go talking to them and trying to talk to them and tell them how much money you're going to save them. Find out how much money they're spending, you know, if they're spending anything. This is not a paid version. And then you can get in their ads in this. What are their ads? What are the recommended ads? What are their Google ad history? They're paying $26.20 a click. $26 a click. So let's say they're getting 80 clicks a month, which is going to be ridiculously low. They're spending $2,000 a month. I know for me, because I used to do roofing contractor out of Jacksonville, they spent $15,000 or more per month.
That's just on the ad spend. That's not on the management.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is where I'm going to find what's a good niche. Okay. Are they spending money? Just because they're spending money doesn't mean it's a good niche. Can you relate to them? You know, what is the typical, you know, person like in Brock pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's like with him, he's into, I'm pretty sure tree removal, right, Brock?
I've got one there, yeah.
Yeah. So a tree removal person is going to be a typical blue collar, hardworking man, and someone that is, if you will, from a financial background, or if you will, white collar, is probably not going to be able to relate to a blue collar. Just is probably not going to happen. So that's another thing you need to consider. I'm not saying it's just, you know, you can't. I'm just saying these are things you need to think about whenever you're looking at niches. Also, another thing you can do is there's another website you can go to and find out exactly how much leads sell for. And I have that as well, and I'll put that on the back end. Let's see what else. Yep, and someone just sent, this is Renee and Lilia. Hopefully I'm saying that right. The last name, Lila. Let's see real quick. So she made a can. Yep, that's beautiful. I don't know if it will fit. I think some of it will probably be cut off, but I like it. I like it a lot. So like if you're an agency, you know, they're going after high-end clients, right? If you see, notice it says we create high-end websites. So I'm going to assume you're going for high-end websites. I'm assuming you don't want the small businesses, that sort of thing. You're probably going for people that are going to spend, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 on a website. And yes, people spend $5,000 to $10,000 on a website. And they're going to have click here instead of going to group. They want to book a call. That's the one thing personally, I push everybody to a group anymore. I used to push people to book a call, and I will get into and show you why I know the system works. I've actually shown Drew this in the past, and this is why he's here now, in which, you know, my phone calls are insane. Whenever I have right now, I have my calendar off. When it's on, it's nuts. And when my LinkedIn automation's on, it's nuts, everything. So I have tried to look at Blake Newbar's personal profile, and I cannot find it for nothing anymore. It seems like sometimes I think it's taken down. Adobe Photoshop is what I use. I don't use Illustrator. Why? I am specifically going after people that want to learn SEO, right? So the whole, if you will, the whole image that I'm giving people is I am the antithesis of most SEOs, and I'm here to share and divulge all the SEO secrets. So most people come to me after they get to know me is because I'm the guy, I'm the black sheep that's going to tell you everything that no one's supposed to tell you. So that's why. I have a very, you can create a customer avatar, and then there's another aspect of it, of getting into it, is where you become an expert in this field. And this is why I say niche down. And then you develop a persona for yourself of how you want people to perceive you. You know, you'll hear me reiterate a lot of times that I don't like being called an SEO. Most SEOs hate me. It's because I'm teaching a storyline. On top of it, I tell my personal history because I want people to connect with me. There are different things you got to learn how to do, story, tell, and reach out. And we're going to get into how to reach out with people as well. Can we group buckets, similar niches, or buckets? Yes. Like, if you will, home repair. That could be almost anything to do with a home repair. Roofing, siding, gutters. Most of the time, roofers do those three things: fenced installation, flooring, you know, on and on and on and on. How do I know when their site sucks? Just looking at it. I mean, I could look, I've done it enough. I could look at a site and be like, the site looks like it's from the 80s or 90s. And then on top of it, how's it laid out? If you've been in my group at all, I do a audit of the website. But generally speaking, I'm going to pull and go, okay, are they on page 1? If they're not on page 1, your site must suck. You know, the way I have mine set up, and I went over this before, is I honestly don't care if I rank for SEO. And I know that everybody's gonna be like, why? Because you're an SEO and you should be ranking for SEO. I really don't care, because I used to have, and when we get into how to set up a website, I'm going to teach you this as well. I have my site set up more like a funnel. A funnel means when they go from Facebook to my site or wherever they go to, I'm trying to capture their leads. I'm trying to capture their emails. I'm trying to get them to give me something. That's all I care about. I used to have a huge website with 20, 30 pages, and I got diddly squat when it came to leads. And then I changed it to basically a 4 or 5 page website, and I get leads daily. Okay. So there are different things we're going to do, but like I said, first thing is your photo cover, and it's going to be your call to action and what's your main headline, right? Yep. And if you have no call to action, then you have no email capture. If you go to my site, you'll see very clearly, and I changed a lot of the things I used to do based off of what I saw working. That's one of the differences. Like even when I do SEO, there are things I used to do I don't do anymore. If you go to my website, and I have several of them, but this is the main one. It goes, if you go to my site, give me your information. That's all I give a shit about. Courses, my SEO services, my Facebook group. Speak to me. If you want to speak to me and book a call, it's $197. Otherwise, you can't get in. And then my whole funnel is give me your information. Then I tell a little bit about myself, so they connect with me, if you will. Then I talk about my group so they could join my group. Then I have my video so they could come and watch me, because I'm trying to push them to all my channels. Then I talk about my team. Then I give my book, download it. Then I give my backstory. So I have created, if you will, a persona that I'm pushing them to, or if you will, my own avatar. Okay. So there are different reasons you want me to look at this profile and rate it. If you have a profile that you want me to look at, I did not take Blake Newbar's course. I literally started doing this. Jeff knew about it. I literally started doing this, and I was like, well, it just makes sense because I'm going into groups and doing this and this and this, and let me change this, let me change that. And as soon as I started doing that, I started noticing, hey, I'm getting traction. I'm getting leads. I don't have to say, hey, come DM me. Hey, PM me. Hey, inbox me. Hey, I can give you a quote, because people naturally was coming to me. I didn't have to go asking for leads. I didn't have to go get leads, pay for leads. I could show you where to pay for leads at if you want to spend thousands a month if you want, but I can also teach you organic marketing, which is how I grew my group. And it's how I've taken my business from 4 people to hundreds a month. Okay. So this profile right here, here's the biggest problem with this. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. Like this image right here, which is your call to action per se.
Can't see it yet.
Okay, let me open this on the share screen. This call to action, like right here in the middle, and Facebook does this on purpose. Used to, it wasn't as hard, but they put your profile image, they've made it different and bigger, so it takes up more space, especially on mobile. So when you're laying it out, like this one says, Marguerite.co, love your business, love your life. And I'm going to say she's probably a coach.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, which I see, I look at the, I didn't even see the bottom until now, but if you go to click on it, then it gives her URL, but I wouldn't even see that because the profile image is covering it. See that? And then she clicks on it and has this, and you're doing something else right, which a lot of people don't do, is they'll make a post, and then what they'll do is they'll say inside the actual post, they'll say up here, they'll give some information, then they'll say, drop a comment below. Worst thing ever you can do. Worst. Ask an open-ended question, and then if you're going to put a link, put it in comments like she did right here, which is, you know, cool, but this part is covered up. So I would do that different. This picture I like. It's not bright like I'd want it, but it's still not bad. It's good for a coach, but I'd still want something over here where I'm pushing them not to my website. I would push them to my group.
Oh, I just wanted to ask something quick. So
Yep.
I gave you her profile on purpose, kind of,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of guys in the group here, well, I don't know, I speak for everyone maybe. So she's going for, as you can see there, social media to entrepreneurs, business owners, and course creators.
Yep.
Would you say that's a niche in itself? Because she niched down to a service in the
Correct.
same way that you niche down to a service. So, because I think that's kind of what I've been grappling with, and I'm sure a lot of the guys here have also been grappling with. If you're really good at SEO, it doesn't really matter if you're doing divorce or gardening or, you know,
Yep.
whatever. So yeah, that's basically my question. Is a service a niche?
A service is a niche. A service is a niche. A product is a niche. A group of
Okay.
people is a niche. You know, it's
All
a
right.
niche. It does not necessarily mean it's only this one specific product or this. You can even have a niche within a niche. you can
Yeah.
really hone in on people like, okay, I do B2B, but who do I do B2B to? Agencies. What type of agencies? Agencies that outsource. So I went 3 levels
Okay.
deep.
All right. So hers would be social media, entrepreneurs. That's very not niche to me though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And see,
Yeah.
like she's posting lives on here. She'll have some personal stuff on here.
She sells a shitload of courses in South Africa. Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of people love images of dogs and cats, especially dogs, and then testimonials. And, you know, so that's a good one.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Let's see. So we got this. So Canva, you're going to make a cover photo, right? You're going to make a cover photo with your headline, with a call to action. Call to action to be click here, download now, get started, join us, all those power words, right? And now let me get out of here and go back to some questions. Okay. But no, I didn't take Blake Newbar. I wish I had. But his course is about a $10,000 course. I did have a client, and how I found out about him is after I started doing it, I took on a client, forget her name, Kelly or something. She was a course creator, and then introduced me. Hey, have you ever heard of Blake Newbar? I said, nope. And she said, well, you should check him out because he's doing exactly what you're doing. And I'd never even heard of him. And then you started seeing a lot of this other people coming out doing some things similar. And you do not try to rank your main site for SEO. Nope. Most clients that come to me do not ask me, hey, are you ranking? They say, hey, have you ranked a tree expert? Hey, have you ranked a roofer? Hey, have you ranked a, you know, agency, which I could show you an agency in Jacksonville. We got #1, which is where I used to live at. For me to rank personally, I would have to rank international. If I want to rank in a specific city, I could do that in 2 months, 3 months, but I'm international. It's not, I'm not going to do it. It's just, I'm international. It's not going to hurt me. Doesn't hurt me whatsoever. If I have a face for radio, do I have a pic of me on the Facebook profile? Yes. You're going to want to put a Facebook profile picture, and I'll change these up sometimes. Sometimes it'll be me and my wife. Most of the time it's just me. You know, that's just the way it is. GMB a niche. It's one of the best niches. Personally, if it's me, I was going to serve small clients, I'd go for GMB. And of course, that's what I do. But get leads without paying Google every month, work with Google. Yep. And you'll see me Google My Business Secrets. You know, most people, you know, don't understand that, but I'll show you something they do understand. And I used to use, and I have a couple of these I used to use. It's like they understand. I'll show you. Give me 1 second. You could take a banner image and simply drop one of these bad boys on it. They understand what a geogrid is. You can make an image that says, hey, does your listing look like this? Wouldn't you rather it look like, you know, if this was all green? Click now. I mean, you'd be surprised when I show you how I do audits. My audits are very simple, and I sell most of them. If I do 10 calls, I will sit there and probably close about 60% of them. And this method, I'll go ahead and pull up my calendar. Drew's already seen this, but let's go back to before I started this. If I still have it. Yeah. So, oh, let's pull it up. March, April. Yep, there we go. This was my calendar. So, nothing. 2019, I'm starving my ass to death, half of it. Then I leave the one group in September-ish. Then I'm building up their group. September, I leave the group. And then around February is when I start, hey, I need to pick up a couple of clients. And I start picking up a couple of clients here and there. I have probably about 5 or 6 right here. And Jeff has seen this. And then there are times where I'll turn my entire thing off. Like this one, I have 7 calls that day. This one, I got 7 calls that day. This one, I got probably 1, 2, 3, 7. You know, and this was typical. June, July, August, I turn it off a little bit, turn it off for a period of time, and then I start doing a course or whatever, and then I turn it back up again. You know, turn it, you know, this one's got 7, 9 more, 7 more, 3 here. I'll turn off my calendar anymore because of the sheer fact I stay busy. So when I tell you this stuff works, it's not me talking out of my butt. So when I say, you know, these are things I'm trying to teach you guys, if you just like for this, we got our, what do I want? When do I want it? What am I willing to do to get it? And what am I willing to give up? And then what is my why? Now that I know that, what niche do I want to reach? What's my ideal client? Right? And I'm going to put the customer avatar sheet in the back. I'm going to put this in the back end, and I want y'all to go through it. Okay. Let's go through here real quick. Early in the call, I told them not use the same email. That was in regards to GMB putting spammy niches on a specific Gmail, put them on separate ones. Yep, screenshots is good. What Facebook page did you get suspended and just got back? It wasn't a Facebook page. I have about 4 or 5 Facebook profile accounts. Because I do have a little band of haters that like to flag everything I post. So I usually have 4 or 5 of them. I've been suspended probably 12 times in the past year since leaving the other group. So it is linked to Calendly, but now if someone went to go to make a call, they would actually be taken to my shopping cart, which means they have to pay to talk to me. I won't even get on a phone call without someone paying first. Unless they're already a client, then that's a little bit different. William, got all these calls on your schedule from LinkedIn? Nope. I'm going to take you step one. Step one is you got to do the photo cover. And then I'm going to show you where we get these calls from, where we find these people. You got to develop who is your customer first, right? And then once we do that, and we develop who is your customer, then we develop your timeline cover, then we can go, where do I find these people? You know, where am I going to find them? Then once I tell you where to find them, then I'm going to say, okay, now what do I give them that they want? What is the bait that I'm going to put on my hook? I'm going back to my fishing days. What is the bait that I'm pulling on my hook? Because the problem with most marketers, it's like a lot of fishermen, they go, well, I'm just going to use shrimp. I'll catch whatever I catch. Well, you don't know, you're really not a fisherman. You're just, you're putting bait on a hook, throwing it out there and praying to God you catch something. I could tell you, like, for example, with fishing, if I wanted to catch sheephead, I knew exactly what to use. I need fiddler crabs. I know how to catch them, where to go and everything, where they're at. If I'm going to catch black drum, red drum, I know what they eat, where they're at, when to catch them, what tide, everything. And that's what we're going to be doing, is teaching you these things. Will you show us how to set up our websites and book a call process ASAP? Yes, ma'am. Or yes, sir. Any other questions? Because we are done for the evening on this. I will be loading it in the back end. Okay. And then we will go over this again on Friday. On Friday, I want to see from you, Jason, a timeline cover. I want your call to action. And then once we have that, I also am dropping in the sheet for your customer avatar. So you got a lot of work between now and Friday. Friday, yeah, we're good. It's my other session that's not good. We have a scheduled power outage on Friday morning, or for my Friday morning, y'all's Thursday night. So,
Can I ask your advice real quick on something?
yes,
Do we have
sir.
time?
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. So real quick. So I'm torn between, I think I mentioned it yesterday, continuing with my current business, which obviously I'm going to continue with it, or starting something brand new for this specifically. It might be a little crazy, but could I kind of use both in a sense? Like with my current lane, we started to create relationships, and I guess this could be niching down, but with branding agencies, right? I've been making relationships locally, and we're just getting work from them constantly. So that could potentially be a niche for that lane, but I also want to, start fresh too.
So let me give you an example of one way to niche down that a lot of people don't think about. So as a digital agency, can you do work for another digital agency?
Yep.
Most people would think, no, I can't. What do you mean, do work? Why would another digital agency want to hire me to do digital agency work? And the fact is, let's say a digital agency only does pay-per-click and websites or funnels. They usually don't do SEO. And then a lot of times they don't know where to put it. And they don't do local. So you can niche down and go that way. Or, hey, I do local SEO. Like for me, I do local SEO. I do websites and SEO, local SEO. I don't do national SEO. I don't do national brands. And then on top of it, I don't do pay per click, and I always have to have a place to push these people.
Yep. Yeah, I was finding that out very quickly with these relationships because a lot of the guys were either just strictly doing branding consultations, but they didn't have anyone to do the SEO because they do the marketing
a
side. They
lot.
do the Facebook, the Google ads, they do the consultations, but they don't have the websites and they don't have the
Yep.
SEO. So
That
that might be
happens a
good.
lot, very much so. Especially, a lot of people are just into the branding aspect, would not even be into the SEO aspect. So you can make a J, or what we call a JV, or a partnership in which they feed you and you feed them. You're feeding them work and they're feeding you work.
Cool. Thank you.
You'll hear the term thrown around a lot in a lot of the marketing circles called authority hacking. All authority hacking is making partnerships with other people that have a higher authority than you in a different niche, which then enables you to tap into their customer base. And that's the whole reason you're going to do it. And that's the same thing we're doing here. And I'm already talking about, for instance, even in our group, my group right now is creating what I'm going to call a Rolodex of people that do pay-per-click, websites, SEO, national SEO, social media management, whatever they do, and literally test them, try them, put them in a Rolodex, and put them on the Facebook group. So when someone says, "Hey, I need someone that does pay-per-click," I go, "Well, try out Drew, or hey Renee, or hey Jeff. These guys right here, they do pay-per-click. I don't, but I highly recommend them." And I know as soon as I go, I highly recommend them, they're going to do business with these people. So that's another thing we're doing. Thanks a lot. Great session. Great question, Drew. JV is a great way to grow. It's definitely a great way to grow. I actually had Craig Campbell, and he's on one of my videos I have. Probably did it when I first started doing all the interviews, where he gave me an endorsement for my white label SEO and web design. That was probably 3 months ago, maybe a little less. And then I started doing outreach to, hey, I need to do an interview with Chris Palmer, Craig Campbell, all the big head SEO people, and that's why I did that. You seem like Dr. Phil. That's funny. I liked him. I used to like him. Used to watch him a lot. He uses a lot of country slang. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to get off here, and then I will do my best to have this, because it's late where I'm at. I'm going to do my best to have it uploaded between now and tomorrow morning, which is y'all's evening. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them back into the group. And if you do not have access to the back end, please email me and I will get it as soon as I can over to you. All right. You guys have a great day and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.